When the final buzzer sounds and the scoreboard shows who wins and who loses, sometimes statistics tell the story of the game.
I think we played clean. We didn't turn it over today. We've got a turnover. We'd like to be better on third down.
But for the people keeping track of all the first downs, yards, assists, or fouls, there's a lot of memories that go beyond just the numbers.
I think I have the best seat. I'm on the 50 line at 50-yard line at football and right down there in basketball. And I'm not exactly center court, but I'm close to it, so I get to hear all the juicy things the coaches say and the referees, and which you guys probably never hear, and it's always interesting.
You think of UND athletics in the 50 years and everything that's happened, and Kent's probably been front and center.
Kent Keys has been a mainstay on the stat crew at the University of North Dakota for football and basketball, now in his 50th year.
9 for a layup solo.
He got his start as a student back in the early 1970s, when he was just looking to make a few bucks.
I transferred up from Valley City State because I wanted to be a journalism major. Decided to come up to UND, and I was basically broke, so I found out where the Sports Information Department office was. Lee Bonet, longtime SID from like 53 to 88. I mean, it was an incredible run. Knocked on his door. I said, Mr. Bonet, I introduced myself, and I said, I need a job. I'd like to be in sports. He said, why don't you work basketball? Sure. Why don't you work hockey? Sure. And then it all started, and I have missed maybe a handful of games since '73.
We're students together here at UND. He was back a long ways. His history of him with UND is amazing. Amazing what he's seen and what he's helped UND athletics achieve over the years by what he does.
Kent has seen a lot of different co-workers come and go from the stat table over the years, taking it upon himself to recruit and train others to join him.
So in 1979, just before the football season started, he called or met me in the office or come and talk to me in the office and said, would you like to work Saturday's football game? I said, well, I suppose. I said, what do I got to do? He said, well, just come over and meet Lee Bonet and we'll tell you what you got to do.
At first it's stressful, and it's still kind of stressful for some of the new kids we get. So I just say, calm down. The more you do it, the better it'll be, the easier it'll get, the more you'll love being here.
But when you're doing it with Kent, he just made it so easy. He always had the line that would be like, next play, just move on. If you know you got an assist wrong, or maybe you didn't get the rebound right, you go, we'll fix it, just next play. And I think that was so calming to me as 18-year-old, and now in my career 10 years later.
Of course, keeping stats has changed quite a bit from when he first started out as technology evolved.
Maybe for 50 years ago it wasn't this fast. You didn't have the shot clock, you didn't have a lot of things going 100 miles an hour.
Back then it was manually. It took probably 8 of us with pencil and paper to do all these stats in basketball and football. When we computerized, it knocked down the size of the group and made it a lot easier, although you had to adapt every time there was a new software program. And some of them, especially in basketball, were crazy.
We used to talk in a computer language. We'd say things like, Y5, R54, J54, RD, 23. And that would be a 3-point shot by number 5, a miss, and an offensive rebound by our number 54, a shot, he would miss that, and then there'd be a defensive rebound.
Managing and organizing all that data may not sound like a very glamorous assignment, but for Kent, it fits his character perfectly.
It's a weird job, but I think it just is the perfect fit for the perfect person, and he's that perfect person.
When basketball ends in March, I can't wait for football in August. I literally cannot wait. And people say, you're crazy, because we've got a lake cabin we go to in the summer and yada yada, but I can't wait for football to start. I just can't, I've got to be there. It's just the way I'm wired, I guess.
Not only did Kent witness a lot of history, he also helped organize and document it, working with Lee Bonet to write a book called A Century of UND Sports back in 1994.
I reference that book all the time when we're looking up what happened in UND wrestling in 1979. Kent has a little blurb in there about the wrestling team in the 70s, and it's like the passion and the love for here, I think is unmatched when you think about Kent.
And it took over a year to edit that book. He'd give me like 50 pages of typewritten material. Every Friday I'd edit it, we'd meet for lunch the next Friday and do the same thing. The research and the writing he put into that, and a little bit on me, the editing, was immense.
He's kind of like, almost like a historian. And you can go back, I can come here some nights, you can talk about 1978, 1979 teams, or the 90 teams, or the power teams of UND basketball, and the bad years too, he's been there through it all.
His dedication to North Dakota athletics has not gone unnoticed. In 2001, he was inducted into the Honorary Letter Winners Club, a tribute he'll never forget.
It was real special. This jacket was one of the things they gave me that night, and we had a banquet and a football game that day that I worked, and it was special.
Now in his 70s, Kent continues his role with the same joy and enthusiasm as that bright-eyed student that showed up on campus 5 decades ago.
I would love to see how long he can do it, because he's still, he's as sharp as a knife. He's unbelievable at his job.
I don't think I have 50 in me, but I'd still do it for free. I probably shouldn't say that, but I have the best seat in the house, and it matters that I'm working for my alma mater. That's special to me. I wouldn't be doing this job if it was at any other college. I'd be at home watching it on TV, but this is my place.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Build Your Base with Beef Sports Nutrition and Training Program.